So I've had some really sad news. On the 15th of December from Piper, I had an email. It was actually in my junk folder, so I found it a few days later. But Piper will be no more. The cameras will be no more. So the email sent says, since 2014, Piper cameras have been used to help customers monitor the things they care about. And they sold their last Piper camera in 2018. At which time they discontinued camera production. So that's pretty good, really, isn't it? Seems we're in kind of nearly 2024 now. And they kept that thing going for kind of 6 years after they'd even stopped making it, which is probably a lot longer than some other companies would have done. But basically what they're going to do is they've come to the point where they're going to no longer be able to maintain the stability and security of the Piper platform, and they're going to have to discontinue this service. So that basically means that from March the 15th, 2024, after this date, all Piper cameras will stop functioning, including live streaming and video clip capture. And you'll no longer be able to access the mobile phone app or any of your video clips if you've got them stored. So you do need to download any of those clips if you want to keep them. So it's a bit of a sad day. I'm amazed it actually kept going this long, to be honest. But there is some good news, and I was quite amazed to see this at the bottom of the email as well. And that's that as a Piper user, we care about you basically, and to support your transition to another video camera, we're offering you a payment of $35 for each Piper camera on your account. And if you'd like to receive this payment, click on this link and fill in a few details. So I've done that, but I don't know if they're going to send me the money, or how they're going to send me the money, being in the UK, but hopefully I might get it. It's about sort of £27 for me, something like that, which could go towards another camera to replace it, admittedly. So I basically, you've got to fill in the link information before January the 15th, 2024. Basically, it was a very simple kind of form, just asking me about me, my address, and some of my details. Not exactly where I want the money paid or anything like that. I think they're just gathering account information to begin with. And then I'll probably hear more later on. This just talk about a little bit about the history now of this poor camera. Although I did love it, and it's still working, and I'll show you the video of where I've got it in a moment. But I still found in the UK people selling this camera. This website that still says they got some in stock are going to basically have duds on their shelves soon. But yeah, £250 including VAT on this Piper Classic. Now, as far as I remember, some of the early cameras were 720 and some of the later cameras were full HD 1080, and I had the later one. I can't remember if this is the Classic or the NV. There were different names for them. But anyway, yeah, this one's still being sold. And I think I paid about kind of £200 for it, which was a lot of money for a camera nowadays, because you can get really good kind of cameras for, I don't know, £50. But I suppose the company just didn't have a kind of subscription model like a lot of them do, where you pay for kind of cloud use afterwards. Once you'd bought it, that was it, really. Although I did really, really like the look of this camera for two reasons, really. One, you got a nice sort of metal stand with it, and it came in black or white. And the other thing was it had a proper kind of PIR sensor on the front, just like you get on kind of outside lights. So it wasn't kind of inbuilt in the software, motion detection. It was actually in the kind of hardware. So that's what I really liked about it as well. And the camera was a really wide angle camera. And I've actually got it flat on a wall, and you can actually see most of the room from that. And also it had backup batteries in it as well. You could put batteries in the back, so if you couldn't run it off the batteries, but if the power supply went down, then you could just you had a backup of batteries for it, really, in the back, as long as you kept an eye on those batteries and they didn't leak, etc. But you could also attach the Piper to a wall, flat to a wall, which is how I've got it. So they actually gave you a bracket in the box as well. So yeah, different security modes. It really was a kind of a security, like a burglar alarm kind of, a house alarm kind of camera, really. 180-degree field of view, which was really good. You had motion and sound detection, and you had a microphone, so you could actually speak to it as well, or get sound out of it. You had a siren built in, a really loud 105 decibel siren. and you had kind of video on demand. You could actually store your videos without monthly fees. That was the problem, obviously. And you can access those anytime, and you could kind of pan, tilt and zoom and split screen. Obviously not moving the camera itself, but just in the software. And obviously you had the two-way kind of audio as well. But there was kind of more to it than that as well. There was automation in there. You could integrate Z-Wave accessories as well. And I actually did have a Z-Wave sensor on my shed door, and I actually included that in the Piper, and that worked quite well actually. You could see when the door was opening and closing, and then if you alarmed the Piper, that would kind of alarm the shed sensor as well. As I say, you had full 1080p and two-way audio. You could do customized alerts as well. And there were environmental sensors in it as well, so you could actually see even the ambient light and sound volumes. You could measure your humidity and the temperature, so it wasn't sort of just the camera, it did have other sensors in it as well. Had an ARM processor built in, and battery backup that I mentioned already, and it was available. You could use the apps on Android and iOS, and you could connect up to 5 Pipers kind of on one wireless network. Although that would have 5 cameras would have costed you quite a lot of money at the time. So my camera is actually just sitting up on my kitchen wall above the cupboards, really high up near the ceiling. So it actually gives a really good view of the kitchen. Now I've actually been through, since I've had it, it's on its second power supply. The first one went wrong and I had to replace it. So it's kind of stuck up on the wall now, a bit with a kind of a blue tack and the bracket on the back as well. But the new kind of power supply that I got wasn't an angled one. I went for a kind of a straight one. So I had to make sure that the unit was sitting away from the wall a little bit in order to get the power supply in. But yeah, it's still working fine actually. And it's a shame that it's going to go. I'm wondering if somebody else might be able to keep it working or not. Maybe get it working in Home Assistant. This was the app on my Android phone, so you could see other wireless accessories in it, arm it, disarm it. You'd see a picture of what the camera saw. You got your temperature, humidity. You give you some timeline kind of messages in there. And you can set different modes if it was detected, loud sirens if temperature changes, different rules and automations with the accessories and things. And then you had several settings as well. I think it was even had Live 360 in there at one point, and they took that away. And then IFTTT was in there at one point, and that got removed as well, unfortunately. So unfortunately, it's going to the graveyard with some other products that you may have also had. I've had things like this really, the Thermo Peanut. I don't know if you remember that. That was app based. And you could actually put that anywhere, and it was just basically a thermometer sensor in an app. Really simple idea, but it kind of worked really well. And that kind of company kind of vanished as well. I've actually still got mine actually just sitting around for absolutely no reason. So you could get the temperature, and they also kind of created something else as well, which was the Sleep Peanut. Now this one was slightly different. You actually put it underneath your bed, and it kind of measured your sleep patterns. Now I know that kind of smart watches do that now, but not everyone wants to kind of sleep with a massive fat smartwatch on their wrists. Yeah, so you could kind of analyze your sleep cycles, and I actually bought one of those, but obviously that doesn't work now either. And going back a few more years, who kind of remembers the Nabaztag rabbits? Do you remember these? These servers went down, and actually a company kind of rescued it, and it came back up for a while, and then it finally died a death. And there were several versions of this. There was the Nabaztag tag, where you could kind of use RFID tags, and it would kind of read children's books and things like that. But I kind of really loved it, especially it was so cute with the ears rotating round, and it was before kind of the Amazon Echoes as well and things like that, and you could actually get it to read out RSS feeds, kind of news headlines, as well as get it to play some music stations as well, which is really what I was kind of looking for. So yeah, so I had one of these as well, and really liked it, but unfortunately that kind of doesn't work anymore either. That was a long time ago when this worked, but yeah, to me that was kind of new tech, cutting edge, and I really liked that. But tell me about any other products that you've bought which are now kind of no good and don't work anymore because the app's been taken away or the company's gone bust. Be interesting to know if there's any others that you know of that I don't. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, and don't forget to leave a comment below, and don't forget to, of course, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you soon.